It's hard to believe, but here we are in the 21st, 22nd century, actually, and we still can't get away from faxing. Sometimes we're just going to need to send an actual fax. But a lot of us don't have fax machines sitting around anymore, even in the office. So let's talk about ways that we can actually send a fax without needing to use a fax machine. Here we go. Okay, is it 21st or 22nd century? I can't remember right now. It could be any century for all I know. Anyway, so it's hard to believe, but here we are in the future, and we still have to use fax machines because there are some times that's exactly what whoever we're doing business with says that they absolutely have to have. Now, in some cases, it's worth trying to just send them an email. I mean, here's your scanner, right? You take a picture of it, email it. Sometimes you can get away with that, but there are people who are absolutely going to insist that they have to have something that comes through their fax machine. But since none of us want to go out and buy a fax machine just for that purpose, and we don't have one sitting around, what are we going to do? The good news is there's actually quite a lot of options, and some of them are free, which we all know is one of my favorite words for this kind of stuff. But let's start off at the very beginning, and that is go to a place that has one. So that may not be your office anymore. For some point in time it was, and you do want to be careful about faxing things from your office. Sometimes that's a problem. But what you can do is you can go to your local office supply store. Or maybe ask one of your other small business folks who work from home. Maybe they still have one that they'll pull out of the closet for you. But if not, you can go to a lot of office supply stores and they still have that technology there. You have to pay a couple of bucks probably, depending on how many pages you're sending. But it is absolutely an option for you. But it does involve having to leave the house and finding a place that's open and, going out and peopling. And not all of us like peopling all the time. So if this is something that you're going to be doing a lot, if it's showing up a lot in your life, you can go and look for an all-in-one printer if you're willing to spend a little money. The nice thing about the all-in-one is it means that you don't have to have all the different machines around, right? So, at least if you're going to do that, if you're going to spend the money, then at least it's something that's, there and it's serving multiple purposes. And so an all-in-one, give me a second here, I'll show you what one of those looks like. That would be this one. Yes. So an all-in-one is basically it looks like a printer because that's its main job. But you can also use it as a scanner or as a fax machine. And I just picked one at random that had some pretty good scores on it. The link is in the description, of course. But, for under $200, and you can probably find them even cheaper, you can go ahead and do that type of thing if that works for you. Like I said, for me, I would only recommend that to somebody who's going to be doing a lot of faxing. So let's talk about free, shall we? 1 second here. Let me get back to my notes here. Okay, so I'm going to show you one that I've used a lot over the years. There are a lot of other ones out there, so, go and do your research and find your own favorite. But my favorite, just to show you as an example, is something called Fax Zero. So let's go to that. So Fax Zero, it's not the fanciest site you've ever seen in your life. It is going to have ads on it. Actually, we're getting away pretty easy on the ads right now because it is free. It's, it's ad supported. So you just come here, you put your information in here. It's got the asterisk to let you know which are the required fields. Then you can set up the information of who you're sending it to. You can not even deal with paper. You can just go ahead and type whatever message in here, if that works for you. If you do need to attach a document, you can take the basic file formats, the two formats of Windows or PDF. I recommend sending a PDF just because you're going to know what it's going to look like before you send it. And then you're just going to click on one of these to send it. You're going to put in this code here, and then you're going to hit send free fax now. If you're going to be sending a lot of pages, so this is limited to 3 pages plus the cover. So the cover is what we would be typing in here. So technically it's 4 pages. So you could type whatever in here, and then you could attach up to 3 more pages. And you're limited to 5 of these a day. If you need more than that, you can do a one-time pay of, what is it? It's now $2.09. How's that for random? And do it that way. And it won't actually include the branding. If you do the free one, it does include the branding on it. So I have used that a ton of times. It has never failed me. And it's made my life easier. Now, keep in mind, and I probably should have said this first, we're talking about sending faxes, not receiving faxes. I'll touch on that later, that free is not so much an option there. But this is for just sending faxes out. So this is a good way to go. There's no monthly fee. Like I said, only if you need to use, if you need to use a lot, like if you need to send a lot of stuff or you need to send more than 5 in one day, then there's a $2.09 US cost. But other than that, super easy. Now, one of the concerns I hear from people when I talk about these things is they're like, well, but I need to know that the fax got there. You do get a confirmation. So when you send a fax using any of these free ones, it goes through, it sends you a message. Now, they do send them out in batch, so it's not going to be an instantaneous send in most cases. But what you can do is it'll send you, either you can just stay on the page and it will let you know the status of it and then tell you if it failed or succeeded on the send. Or it will give you a URL that you can copy and paste if you want to like go away and come back to it later. And that will give you your status. So you do get that information back. But like I said, this is just about sending it out, not getting one back. So let's just be very clear about that. Alrighty. So like I said, there are other ones out there, but this one is free. It's been around forever, as you can tell from the user interface. I haven't really updated it, but the functionality is the same. Faxing hasn't really changed, so we're good on that. Okay. So it is definitely a way to go. One of the other things that you can do is you can fax from Google, right? All things come back to Google in our world, and that's the way to do this. So you can fax from Google Docs, from Google Voice, or from Gmail. And there's a couple of different ways to do that. So I'm going to show you, let me just switch my view here. I got a sort of a chicken or the egg problem. That's what I have here as far as showing you this. But we'll just go ahead. We'll just dive in. We deal with the slight bit of chaos that happens from time to time, right? Alrighty. So let's go here. So here we are in my usual test account. There's a bunch of different ways, just like always in the Google world. There's different ways to do things. But I'm just going to show you one. It's the same process, whichever method you choose, or whichever trigger you choose. And that is, if you come over here, I'm in Google Drive. You come over here and you click on this little plus. This little thing may be hidden. There's a little arrow down here at the bottom. Let me remove the topic so you can see that. So way down here in the bottom right, okay, there's this little hide and show for the side panel. So if you're not seeing this on the right, take a look for that. But you just want to come down here and click. And this will bring you into the Google Workspace Marketplace, which is the new name for things Google. And then you're just going to type fax in here. And there's a bunch of different options, as you will see. Now, like anything else, you've got to do your due diligence. You're going to want to, read the reviews, read the description, see what the rules are about it. Also pay attention to things like, the number of stars. Maybe this one is interesting to you, but maybe you want to read it a little more closely because 1.2 stars is pretty low. And there's a lot of, ones here that have a higher star count on them. There's quite a lot that have a higher star count on it. So I'm just going to pick this first one because this is another tool that I have used in the past, and that's called Fax.plus. So that's where we've got a chicken or the egg problem. If you want to use the faxing from Google thing, which is all kinds of handy, you are going to have to sign up with this service. Now, there are ones that will let you still do it for free to a certain level, but you're going to need to do the service because Google itself does not natively give you fax capability. And what that means is you're not sending something to Google and Google sending it out. You're going to send it to a third party and they're going to send it out. So just to be clear about that, or clearer about that. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll pick this one. And this is like, if you ever want to add any kind of an extension to your Google world, this is the same process. So you're going to come in here, you're going to want to check all this out. I've already looked at all this, but there's privacy information, there's, the support contact, what it works with. You can go through and read all the stuff and the reviews. So it's always, you need to do your own due diligence on this. But when you pick one that you like, you're just going to come up here and say install. Now it's going to, ask for permission and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, last time it gave me a success message, but all right, we're going to fly without that right now. So once it's there, then you're just going to, come in. So let's say that for whatever reasons, this is from a previous session we done, right? We did the notes. So if you wanted to actually send it, you would come in here to the extensions, and it didn't actually install. That's what I thought. It looked like it didn't actually install. Let's try that again. I don't know why that failed. It worked last time. It works. It always works when you test it, right? That's like the rule of life. Let's try it again. Did I click on the no? So I said continue. I don't know why. Maybe there's a problem tonight because, you know, I'm trying to do something live. So of course, if this doesn't work, we'll try another one. What the heck? Yeah, of course. Of course. Welcome to my life. Let's try this again. Let me try a refresh too, because sometimes that helps. 1 second. I just want to see if I got any error messages. I don't think I did. Did you see an error message, anybody? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to try another one. Let's go back. Let's just try another one. This does normally work, I promise. But hey, this is life, right? So let's just try another one. Let's see. What's another good one? Here's a pay-as-you-go version. Let's try that. That's what it was not. Oh, it's looking for the wrong account. Shoot. Can I go back? Back. Use another account. Okay, wait, it's going to make me sign in. That's what didn't come up last time. So let me pick this account. What account am I in? Hang on. I got to go see what account I'm in. This is a very first world problem, I know. Hang on. Which account is this? Oh, right. It's that account. Okay. I have multiple test accounts depending on who I'm doing stuff for. So that's why that got confused. No, not that one. This one. And this one. Oh, sorry. Here, let's bring this back. Oh, well, no, because I had to put in my password. That's why I took you away. Okay. This one. And where is... It'd help if I had a short-term memory, too. It was this one? Okay, hopefully I picked the right account this time. All right, so when you get past the sign-in, then it's going to verify that, yes, you want to allow all of this stuff, and you're going to say allow. And there you go. It tells you it was successful. That's what I was looking for before. Now let's see. Okay, it was installed. Hey, I picked the right account. Bonus points for me. All right, so when you're ready then to send, you're going to come up to extensions. And of course, it's not here yet, but it did add it over here. So there's two places to look for when you add an extension. A lot of times you'll be able to access it from up here, but I'm guessing it's going to take a refresh for that to happen. But it also adds it over here on the side. So then you would just click here, and it would take you through the process that they offer of being able to send a fax online. It really is easy. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. Maybe it's because I was testing and I was in there too many times. Who knows? But that is just one way to do it. Another option is to do things like to send via email. So again, you're going to need to sign up with a service. We're going to talk about a couple of services in a minute. But the idea is whatever email service you're using, Gmail included, you could set yourself up with whatever service. And then when you go to send the fax, you're going to attach the document to an email. The two for like who you're sending the email to will be a particular string that your email service will give you. And then they will send it out. Now, the nice thing about using these third-party services is a lot of these not only will give you the status of the email that or the fax that you sent, but also are going to send you, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. They're also going to send you confirmation, right, which all of them will do, but they're also going to give you the option of receiving a fax back. Now, again, depending on what you're doing, that may or may not be more, may or may not be important to you, but it's just a nice feature of if you're going to be using these third parties that they offer. Some of them, again, if you're using a free level of their service, will limit you to how many you can do a day or the size of the files that you can send and receive. And then once you start paying, of course, all of that tends to go away, as tends to happen when you're doing that kind of a thing. So let's just take a look at a couple of the options for third-party tools. Now, again, this is the kind of thing where there's a lot of them out there. I'm surprised in this day and age that this is still such a successful business. It just goes to show how much faxing is still a part of our world. But so there's a lot of different options out there. Do your due diligence. These are just a couple of examples that I picked. And the links for these are in the description if you want to go check them out. So this is the one that I was playing with before. So this is Fax.plus. I like them because they do have a free level. So again, best of both worlds, but you can't receive faxes. The free level is only for sending, and it's limited to 10 a month. So, but other than that, it gives you what you need. You can send a fax, you can email a fax. There, you can even, like, if you go over the page limit, you can, pay per page. So it's got some nice functionality. And the nice thing about the free is it gives you an easy way to test drive. And then, of course, if you are finding that you need this and it's a handy service, they do have different tiers of service available to you. So that's nice. Let's take a look at another one. So eFax is another one. They have been around forever. Now they don't, let me back up here for a second. Let me go back here. There we go. So the reason I started with Fax Plus is because they do have direct integration with the Google universe. That is not the case for eFax. Matter of fact, eFax actually goes so far as to say that it's not an option when actually it sort of is. You just saw that I was able to add something. But putting that aside, eFax is a good choice, especially if you are going to be paying for it. Like, this is kind of one of the big players in the market. Now, I looked very closely, and I'm going to look again because, things change, but I did not see, and I still do not see, a free option. So if you're going to use them, you're going to be paying per month. That said, they do have a 14-day free trial. So for 14 days, you can use them for free. But overall, they don't just offer a free tier itself. But it is another option, and it's been around a long time. And like I said, they definitely are the big player in the market. And then, okay, so that was the two I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so the other thing with one of the paid ones is this idea that you can, like I said, you can do the email. Doesn't have to be a Gmail account. I just mentioned Gmail because we were in the Gmail, in the Google universe. But any email service that you're using, you can go ahead and use that in. Another option that you can use for some of these is you can do the printing to a fax. So what that does is, instead of going in and doing the email path, what you would do is you would actually click on print, and then the fax service will show up as one of your printer options and send it out. Now, how does that work? That works by you installing their software on the computer you're working from. So the downside of the print option is that you're limited to the machine you're on. Now, if you only have one machine, that's not a problem. But if you're like me and you've got machines dedicated to different things, that may be a little bit more friction and more of a hassle for you. So you have to factor that in. But what that does is, even like something like, from Google Docs, or from any place that you can go ahead and select print, that gives you that option to go and click on. So that's super handy, super easy. Some of the third-party services also will let you set up a Google Voice number as your fax number. So again, you're going to want to do the research. If that's important to you, then that's another step in the process, because first you'd have to set up your Google Voice number, which is free. And then you would need to, I think you actually need to go and set up the account with a third party that offers that connection. And then you have to port that phone number to that service. Now, if you've ever changed your phone, if you've ever moved and wanted to bring your phone number with you, you're familiar with that port process. But basically what that is you have to, you tell the whoever you're porting to, like, so in this case, it would be the fax company. Yes, there'll be some little box you have to tick saying, yes, I give you permission, and here's the number I want you to port and accept. Very often, you also have to go to whoever has that phone number and okay it, or verify that that's your intention somewhere along the process. So I'm guessing with Google, it's just a matter of they'll contact you and say, hey, so-and-so is trying to port your number. Are you okay with that? And then you would say yes. It's not a hard process, but it can take a day or two for everything to actually line up and click in together. So just keep that in mind. So that's your basic options. There's actually a lot of options, a lot of different ways that you can go ahead and fax your document without having a fax machine. I still maintain that this is where I start, right? If somebody wants a fax of whatever I've done, I will print out and scribble, whatever information on whatever form they want handwritten. I take a picture of it and I email it to them. Because for me, that's the simplest. And it's so funny because I actually have people like, oh, they've reached out. They're like, oh, you have a fax machine. I need to fax, and I'm like, well, will they take an email? They're like, yeah, but I have to have this piece of paper scanned. And it's funny because they're usually on their mobile phone. And I'm like, you're on a device that will do that for you. There's even scanning software, but really you just need to take a good picture of it, get the lighting okay so that there's no obvious glare on it. And that's a good way to go too. So I always start there. It does not always work depending on who I'm dealing with. Like, for example, when I refied the house, that did not fly. Also, there was a lot of paperwork for that one. So what I did was I signed up for a month with one of the third-party services and just made my life easier because then we could go back and forth in the way that the company I was dealing with liked to work. No sense in fighting the process. The process was painful enough. And that way it was fine. And, for a month, I think I paid $10 to have the service. So it was not a big deal. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to reach out. You can always reach me here at yourtechcoach.com. If you have an idea for the show, if you have a topic you want me to cover, if you need help with something, you can go ahead and reach out here. Feel free. Don't be shy. That's where most of the best topics come from. But as far as faxing without a fax goes, totally possible, really not hard. And you've got a lot of options from free to a certain amount per month. And the monthly thing, you can do it for just the period you need it. So no big deal there either. Or you can do it on demand, right? So one of those services we looked at, it was like $2.09 for that one fax session. Okay, that's fine. All right, everybody. I hope that works for you. I'm here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know why I almost said Pacific time because I'm dealing with specific people all week, I guess. So I do hope that you will come and hang out and talk in the chat. But if not, go ahead and jump into the comments and let me know what you're thinking. If you've ever used any of these services, what your favorite service is. And if you have any other questions or comments, we will talk again soon. Take it easy. Bye. Where's my button? Here's my button.